first-time. Special recognition to our first-time visitors, Erastus Magori, as well as Barbara Karaoke, who is joining us online, and Gloria Achieng joining us online. We are honored and privileged to have you taking time to be with us today. Not only that, but I also want to recognize that in a very special way, those from other clubs who are joining us today. I want to recognize Princess Eguchi, who is joining us from SEMA Toastmasters. Thank you so much for coming once again to be with us. We are honored. So as we get started, I want to let you know that this is indeed promising to be a very elegant, going to be a very executive and elegant meeting. And I'm pretty sure that you're all here to have a feel of what happens in the typical Toastmasters class. Look, no, you are in the right place to find out. And just to get us started, and especially for those of us who are here for the first time and you came wondering, so who is Toastmasters, or what is Toastmasters all about? Now, Toastmasters Club is a non-profit educational organization that assists people globally to be able to become more competent communicators, leaders, as well as public speakers. And remember, this is globally in about 150 countries in the world. What happens in Toastmasters is that people become better, more articulate, and not only that, one thing about Toastmasters is that this year, in October 2024, we will be celebrating our centenary celebrations. For those of us who might not know, 100 years of existence for Toastmasters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that just goes to show you that indeed it's something very good about being a member of Toastmasters if they have been there for 100 years. As Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, we give us a very open an environment which is friendly to every one of us, so that we can be able to learn and become more confident, become more self-confident in ourselves, be able to articulate yourself in your speech and in the way that you carry yourself. It is what we refer to as a safe and enabling environment where like-minded members come together to help each other to grow in our world. Because ultimately, we want to grow in our respective skills so that we can become better people out there in the market. For Toastmasters, we are guided by 4 key core values. My fellow Kwanzanites, kindly join us in letting us know what are those 4 key values that we are guided by. First one is, hey, don't let me down. The first one is what? You should know this like the back of your hand. Respect. Then we have, second one happens to be what? Integrity, service, as well as excellence. Now, these are key core values. Don't just practice in Toastmasters, but they help us as we go out into the market to become more effective as we utilize them. Going forward, I'd like to welcome our Sergeant at Arms, who's going to take us through the protocols of our meeting today. Ladies and gentlemen, online as well as physically, let's welcome our Sergeant at Arms, Fidel Owiti, to take us through what are the
Thank you so much, Madam President. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yes, you are very cold. I don't know. Need to warm up. Good evening. That's better. That's better. Now, my role as the Sergeant at Arms tonight, this evening, is to, number one, reinforce what Madam President has said, to warmly welcome you to this meeting, guests and members alike. Enjoy yourselves and have an inspirational and energetic evening. Secondly, my role is to outline the protocols and the rules to ensure that this meeting runs smoothly and seamlessly. Speaking of which, the first protocol goes to those joining us online. Please ensure that your microphones are muted when you're not speaking. Number two, again, stay speaking with those following online. Ensure that your videos are on most of the time to ensure that we have an interactive meeting. Now to those following in the physical meeting room, someone is just a culprit. Ensure that your gadgets are put on mute, or if possible, switch them off to avoid interrupting the meeting and disrupting us. Secondly, or thirdly, fourth protocol is that ensure that we don't ensure that you don't move without purpose or unnecessarily to avoid interrupting our procedures and our speakers. Finally, but most importantly, in Toastmasters, we learn in an environment of enjoyment. So I urge you to enjoy yourselves, because if you don't enjoy yourselves, you want to enjoy yourself or yourselves anywhere else. Thank you, Madam President.
Let's give a round of applause, please. Okay, there is something not very right about today's meeting. Why are we feeling so cold? It might be cold outside, but I'm sure inside you're feeling a bit warm. Kindly let's clap properly. Okay, let me welcome our secretary to be able to take us through the minutes of our class meeting for adoption. And this is Christine Mugo, our club secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. The minutes for meeting 975 was circulated on 22nd April via email by a show of hands. Any member who did not receive the minutes? Thank you. Elizabeth, anyone else, especially the new members? All right, I'll get your email addresses and add them to the mailing list. Any amendments, corrections, or matters arising from the minutes of meeting 975 online? If none, I would like a proposer for the minutes, please. Proposer for the minutes. Thanks, Fidel. Seconder for the minutes. Thanks, Vivian. All in favor of adoption of the minutes? All in favor of adoption of the minutes? All not in favor? All not in favor? Seeing as there is no one not in favor, I hand it back to Madam President to confirm the minutes as adopted.
I hereby confirm minutes of meeting number 976 hereby. And now, I'm sure this is what you've been waiting for. Maybe that's why you're not clapping as effectively, but this is really the meat of any Toastmasters club meeting. And this is where I hand over to the person who's taking us through the next segment of our meeting. Now, this segment is led by someone that we refer to as the Toastmaster of the day, or in other words, the Master of Ceremony. Now, today's Master of Ceremony or Toastmaster of the day has so many factors. First of all, she joined Toastmasters exactly 1 year ago. That is in March 2023. And guess what? Within 3 months of her joining, she was already the secretary, the club secretary of Kwanza, Kenya Toastmasters. Not only that, today she's taking up her very first role as a Toastmaster of the day. Well, this is one lady who has excelled exponentially from one level to the other through the years. When I asked her what is one thing that keeps her going, is what she says that being a leader helps you to help other people to become leaders. Because whenever she stands in front of people, there are butterflies, which is very common to any of us. But the thing is, she takes those butterflies and uses them to be able to form formation. Now, this person, you are ready to hear. Let us welcome our Toastmaster of the day, who happens to be our club secretary, Christine Mugo. A round of applause.
Madam President. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. Well, I am not sure I am the one she spoke about. I am just a baby Toastmaster, just a little baby. I'm more than thrilled today to be your Toastmaster of the day, and welcome to the meeting 976 of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club. I'll tell you a short story to introduce our theme of the day. For as long as I can remember, my 10-year-old son has always wanted to live abroad. In fact, he believes he was born in the wrong country. I do not know why, but from his English, he does not call maize, it's corn. A serviette is napkin. He asks for payments in dollars. I have no idea where he was born. I was not there. A few months ago, he was unwell and we took him to a doctor. And he was an ENT doctor, and the ENT doctors said, you know what? He just has allergies. In fact, his allergies are so bad, Nairobi environment is not conducive for him. He did not know he's rubber stamping my son's decision to not live in Kenya. And then he wanted to relocate. I do not know how, but he even started looking for schools to go abroad. So I had to find an interesting way, an ingenious way to make him love his mother country. So I decided to look for nice things that would entice him and make him love being a Kenyan. So I went and started looking at the nice things that we have in Kenya. Our theme today is, this is Kenya. We're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of our country. Did you know that Kenya has approximately 535 kilometers of coastline, 23 national parks, 28 national reserves, 4 national sanctuaries, 4 marine parks, 6 marine reserves, and there's so much to appreciate. And in equal measure, there's also so many things that are peculiar about Kenyan behavior. So here we are today, looking at our country. This is Kenya. To assist me in this meeting, I have a this is the timer, the hour counter, the hack master, and the master evaluator. I will introduce my team. And as I introduce them, I ask them 2 questions. First, what they loved most about Kenya. And second, the funniest or the most annoying Kenyan habits. Our timer this evening is Marcel Atieno. Marcel loves Kenya. She loves that Kenya has embraced the rapidly evolving realm of technology, thus creating more opportunities. But she's frustrated by how Kenyans resort to online chatter instead of taking action, for example, in speaking out against corruption. Marcel, welcome. Tell us more about your role this evening.
Thank you so much. Greetings, fellow masters and guests. So, greetings, by the way. Should we start over again? Should I come back? Okay, so as your timer for the day or for this particular meeting, I will time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. So for the table topics, speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. today we have the red card, it's actually red. So we have 3 speeches, which will be timed at 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. The individual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise again the green card. At 2 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Marcel. Our counter this evening is Elizabeth Mwangi. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of our counter is to note the words and sounds that are used as clutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen to overused words, including and, well, but, so, and, you know. I will also listen to filler sounds, including and l. I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker used the expression. Let us show our ingenuity in finding ways to replace with a pause. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for letting us know what your role entails this evening. Our hack master is Mercy Kirote. Mercy, please welcome and let us know what your role entails. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So today my role will be, as the Hack Master, will be entailing testing your listening skills, and I'll involve both the online and physical members. So I urge each and every one of you to be attentive at listening, so that it will be easier for everyone of you to answer our questions. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Our grammarian this evening is none other than Elaine Muthere, who loves how Kenyans never run out of jokes, even in the toughest of times. Elaine, however, does not like how Kenyans have no concept of personal space, especially in queues. I feel you. Welcome, Elaine.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. My role today as your grammarian, stay here. My role today as your grammarian is going to be two-pronged. Number one is to encourage and to identify the good use of language. So we'll catch that at the end of the session. My second role today is to give you the word of the day. The word of the day is displayed across the room, and I hope everyone online also has a view of the word of the day. And the word of the day is ingenuity. Ingenuity means the quality of being clever, original, and inventive. It also means the ability to think of clever ways of doing something. Examples in a sentence is, with ingenuity and skill, she managed to excel at her work. So I look forward to all of us finding our way of using our ingenuity to make this session exciting and interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine, for your ingenuous search of the word of the day. There is a little amendment on the timing for the first two speeches. It's 4 to 6 minutes. Timer, Marcel, please, would you mind letting us know how you time the icebreakers.
Thank you. So for the two icebreakers, we'll have 4 to 6 minutes. This is how I'm going to time them. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. Yes. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. I hope you've gotten that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Our last but very important role taker for the night is none other but our master evaluator, Ian Mbugi. Ian loves the Kenyan culture, and what really annoys him is that Kenyans complain a lot. Ian, please welcome and tell us more about your role this evening.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Fantastic. Now, today, my role, as you've heard, is a general evaluator. As a general evaluator, I'm evaluating any and everything that will not be evaluated. So as for the speeches, they'll be evaluated by some evaluators who will come here and tell us more about the speeches. However, for the roles of the timer, Toastmaster of the day, the president who's spoken, how we've conducted ourselves in the meeting, that will be my job today. It will be to look at the meeting, how we've conducted it, how it's being conducted, and then give you a report at the end of the meeting. So I look forward to a fantastic meeting led by our impeccable TMOD of the day, and I look forward to the speeches that will be made today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. A round of applause to our role takers and for the impressive elaborations of their roles. Our meeting is divided into 3 parts. We have the prepared speeches, the table topics, and lastly, the evaluations. For the prepared speeches, tonight we have speakers who are ready to break the ice and show us how to organize speeches, how to say it, and how to persuade it. Our first speaker today is Sophie, who is delivering our first Toastmasters speech, the icebreaker. Sophie loves that Kenyans are resourceful and fun. The funny thing about Kenyans, according to Sophie, is that they take shots at everyone with their jokes and memes. Even the president is not spared. She will be evaluated by Fidel Owiti. Fidel? Oh, Maggie is in, oh, sorry. She'll be evaluated by Maggie. Maggie, who is online, I believe. Please tell us the project level, objectives, and title of Sophie's speech. Oh, Maggie left. Well, ingenious Fidel, welcome.
So if you join Toastmasters, you become ingenious. Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. This evening, I'm privileged and honored to evaluate the speech of Sophie Ohanga. Sophie is attempting her first Toastmaster speech, her first ever. In Toastmasters lingo, we call it icebreaker. And the purpose of this speech is for Sophie to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. And this project is basically for Sophie to introduce herself to this club and allow us know her other side that we don't know. She has between 4 to 6 minutes to deliver this speech. And the title of this speech is My Journey Learning Communication. My Journey Learning Communication, Sophie Ohanga.
Barack Obama, Martin Luther King, Winston Churchill, and Nelson Mandela. Dear Toastmasters and guests, what do they have in common? Well, they revolutionized the world. And interestingly, they did this through the power of communication. Communication mastery is a superpower in my opinion. It depends with who you ask. But for me, I consider communication mastery as a superpower. To be able to master the art of communication effectively, is a great achievement that I believe each and every single individual should master. So my journey with communication comes from way back. I've always known that I was meant to be a great communicator. I remember back then, when I was a little kid, I used to watch the 9 p.m. news with my father, and I was amazed by the likes of Janet Mugwa, and Sophie Kenya. And it was not because I wanted. I greatly admired their delivery, how they presented the news, how they presented themselves, how they were able to navigate the questions that were directed to them, how they seemed to have mastered the craft of their communication and how they managed to navigate the interviews that they conducted. It was back then that I knew that communication had a deeper meaning for me. So Sophie, what did you do about this? You had a passion for communication. Someone might ask. Well, dear Toastmasters and guests, I did nothing. I soaked up the knowledge that I could be a great communicator. And due to my shy nature, I stayed put with it and did nothing. Fast forward to my adult life. Fast forward to my adult life, I still know and desire, I still knew and had the drive that I was meant to be a great communicator. The only problem was how will I get to being a great communicator? I asked myself that. My way to getting there, I did not know, but I was certain that I would find a way to navigate my way to that path. With the current age of technology, I was able to revert to YouTube and learn about the art of communication while interacting still with the great speakers that I came across during the interaction. So this led me to a journey of discovering how I could better speak, to take courses of which we learn here at Toastmasters, and different arrays on how I could deliver and speak in front of people. My turning point to this journey came about when I had a moving speech from my CEO. He was able to draw in the audience. He was able to capture their attention. He was able to have their eyes glued on them, or to have everyone's eyes glued on him. And that his mastery piqued my interest. I was keen to know how he was able to do all this with so much poise, confidence, and mastery. This set me on a path of discovering how I could better myself to talk in front of people, and with the same confidence of all my admirers, from my CEO to the news anchors that I used to watch on the 9 p.m. news. This journey of discovering how to talk better led me to finding the Kenya Kwanza, and that is how I am here with you.
Thank you, Sophie, for letting us in your journey. Our second speaker is also delivering the icebreaker, Elizabeth Kipruto. who is online. Elizabeth will be introduced by Mawia Gisho, will be evaluated by Mawia Gishoi. Mawia, please tell us the objectives and title of Elizabeth's speech.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. I didn't hear some of you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, Elizabeth Award Kipruto will be attempting her first speech in the evaluation project. I think she's undertaking the persuasive influence path. And the objective of her speech this evening is for her to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structures of public speaking. Elizabeth Kipruto's speech is titled, How I Got My Groove Back. How I Got My Groove Back, and Elizabeth Kipruto.
Indeed. Fear is a good thing. Well, depending on how you look at it, today, fear has propelled me to move forward, to rise from the ashes like the phoenix, and to get my groove back. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Award Kipruto. And in case you're wondering about the Award Kipruto, my mom is Luo, my dad is Kalenjin, my husband is Luya, and I am proudly Kenyan. Most importantly, I am a born-again Christian, and I'm the firstborn in a family of 4, and a proud mother to 2 amazing boys. I went to St. Teresa's Girls High School in Isili, and for my undergraduate, I chose my course with ingenuity. Guess what I did? I did a double major in psychology and French. Psychology and French. I mean, who does that? Well, me. And that's not all. I also did Japanese for 2 years and Spanish for 1 year. Thereafter, I did a higher diploma in human resource management. So what does that make me? I guess I would say I am a multilingual psychologist who happens to be practicing HR. And that notwithstanding, as a hobby, I did a crash course in interior design and learned how to design using SketchUp and ArchiCAD. And I fell in love with SketchUp, so I used it to design our current house. And it is a masterpiece, I kid you not. So why am I here with all that? I am here to get my groove back. But why? In my formative years, I used to be so good at public speaking. And when I say good, I mean great. I used to deliver with poise and organize my content with ingenuity. Martin Luther had nothing on me. Well, in my dreams. But speaking of dreams, and on a serious note, I had a dream that one day I would be a motivational speaker. But I guess dreams are valid, yes, but sometimes this dream of mine, things changed. Let me just say things changed. All of a sudden, I wasn't that captivating speaker who delivered with poise. And an incident happened several months ago that crushed me. It embarrassed me to the core. It was the last straw that broke the camel's back. At my place of work, we had a beginning of the year get together, And so we seized that opportunity to just reflect about the previous year and chart the course for this year. So my group felt that I was charismatic. Well, I guess they were right, but they were not right in choosing me as their rapporteur. I tried to talk my way out of it, but they couldn't take no for an answer. And so I agreed, albeit reluctantly. When it was my time to deliver, oh, the delivery was horrendous. I broke all the rules of public speaking. You know those rules that train you on how to be an effective speaker, public speaker? I broke all of them and then some. So after that, I was really, really humiliated. And I think humiliated is even an understatement. After that incident, even several weeks after it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I lost sleep, and I think I must have lost even some weight. And then after some time, I was like, all this sulking and mourning and depression and pity party isn't going to get me anywhere. So I had a light bulb moment. Thank God I did. I remembered my cousin Sarah at the Ambo, and I called her up immediately and asked her to tell me everything about Toastmasters, and she gladly did. I did not waste any time. I signed up immediately. And so here I am delivering my first speech. Thank God. So in conclusion, I know the gains that public speaking has, and I can't wait to enjoy their fruits. Fire was lit on my bosom on 22nd February 2024 when I embarrassed myself in front of the whole world, or so it seemed. But now I'm rising from these ashes of frustration, of embarrassment and humiliation, and I am getting my groove back. I can feel it. Oh yes, I can feel it. Watch this space.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I can confirm you've got your group back. Our third and final speaker for this evening is one and only Janice Mugambi. Janice loves the Kenyan climate, nature, and the peace. What annoys her most is the inability of Kenyans to maintain personal boundaries, societal pressure, and expectations. Joyce will be evaluated by Mawia Gishui. Mawia, please tell us the project, objective, and title of Janice's speech.
Good evening once again. Janice will be attempting a second project in the first level, and it is writing a speech with purpose. The purpose of this project is to learn to review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. I will be looking for her speech purpose as she delivers her speech, and Janice will be attempting a speech titled Setback for a Comeback. Janice Mugambi, Setback for a Comeback.
Life is unfair. Why do bad things always happen to good people? By a show of hands, how many of us have fellow Toastmasters? I am that person that believes that life is brutally unfair and that bad things were happening to me. A very good girl. But wait, was I a good person? Allow me to take you back to my first semester in the university. When in the middle of I all of a sudden felt nauseated, dizzy, and awfully weak. After excusing myself from the lecture room, I called my then boyfriend and requested him to take me to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor's wife made me feel like I was staring into an abyss with no visible way out. The doctor said to my boyfriend, "Young man, have you paid the dowry?" And then life has a peculiarity of doing curveball when you least expect it. Just when I thought I had it all figured out, everything seemed to crumble, dreams shattered, plans disrupted. And my future, which was once crystal clear, became heavy. This setback made me question not only my choices, but my ability. A little background on my family. I am a last one in a strict Christian family, where my siblings have the of getting an idol, getting a job, finding the partner of your dreams, courting, marrying, and finally a family. And here was a last one, getting pregnant when she was turning 19 in her first year first semester. Sorry, getting pregnant in her first year first semester in college. During that April holiday, my mom noticed my and my response would be, it was because of the long journey from Nairobi to like the good Christian she is, she believed me and proceeded to give me school fees. Could not allow me to go back to the university. Instead, I used to rent a one-bedroom apartment, which became my safe haven to take a long, hard look at the pieces of my life that was scattered around me. My then boyfriend moved in with me, perhaps feeling a little bit sorry for me, but openly showing the moment of being a father. Let me tell you something about setbacks. They are merely a pause in the grand symphony of life. It was in those dark moments that I gained the strength to rebuild and to reinvent myself. I embraced the setbacks as lessons and learning curves that molded me to be a much more stronger, ingenious, and resilient version of myself. In the face of adversity, I found my inner wellspring of determination and courage. It was a self-discovery journey where every step forward was a triumph through the forces that were against me. I managed to go back to the university 1 year later, and trust you me, ever since then, there is no single time I've been out of class. I am currently finalizing my PhD with several other certifications, and I stand here today not as a victim, but as a testament to the resilient human spirit. My daughter, whom I am so proud of, is currently in Form 4 at Many customers are here today experiencing setback, big or small. Remember this, the setback is not the end of your story. It is merely a chapter. Every great comeback is followed by, every great setback is followed by a great comeback. Embrace the lessons, find the strength and face the setback to a prelude to a great spectacular. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janice, for letting us know that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Let us applaud the speakers once more for their impressive speeches. We're now going to vote for the best speaker. For the online guests and Toastmasters, the SAA will launch a poll. For the Toastmasters in the room, here, so you can give feedback to any of the speakers on the top part. Then at the bottom here, you can vote for the best speaker. And then there will be a basket around to put your. So far, our time management has been impressive. Let's continue with the same momentum by taking a break of exactly 3 minutes. Timer, please let us know once 3 minutes are over. Get to everyone around as you vote for the best speaker. Our speakers were Sophie Ohanga, Elizabeth Kipruto, and Janice Mugambi. Sophie Ohanga, Elizabeth Kipruto, and Janice Mugambi. I believe our break is ongoing.
These were saying, oh, Janice was.
Yeah. It's when the launch.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you're the headmaster.
Habiti wangu nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa zamani. Hawakushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani. Nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu.
Sorry, we want mute, sorry. We go to the second section of our meeting, which is the table topics, where we're going to practice impromptu speaking. So I hope you are all ready. This will be presided over by Vivian Ayuma. Vivian loves the rich Kenyan culture, the matatus, wow, good weather, food, beautiful beaches, world-class runners. We also have the second tallest mountain in Africa and even a national park in the middle of the city. What annoys Vivian most is that Kenyans have stereotypes for every tribe and that we never tire of talking politics and complaining, despite naturally suffering from incurable amnesia during elections. Please welcome Vivian to the lectern.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening once again. That's more like it. My name is Vivian Ayuma. I will be your table topics master for the day. The purpose of the table topics master is to test your impromptu speaking skills. So members and guests will have an opportunity to practice this important skill by giving ingenious responses to my question whenever I call upon them. It is said, if you wait until you're ready, you will wait for the rest of life. The time is now. So if I call upon you to answer a question, the time is now, ready or not. So my first question was going to go to a visiting Toastmasters, Princess Eguchi, who has stepped out. So I will actually go to the second person on my list. We have Monica Oraro online. Monica, am I audible to you?
Hi, good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, Monica. So my question for you is, Kenya has been called the lucky country. Do you agree or disagree? Kenya has been called the lucky country. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree 100%. And this is just based on the fact that for the last, let me say, 12 months, I've had the opportunity to visit other countries, especially other African countries, and that has given me a newfound appreciation for Kenya, especially how warm and friendly we are. Things that could be stereotypical, like the fact that we have pretty amazing weather all year round, and there's so much to enjoy, from the vibrant nature of Nairobi with its its melting pot of people from all over the world, to being able to tap into different interests. If you love hiking, there are beautiful spots to hike. If you want to go to the beach, there are stunning beaches. If you want to go on safari, you have huge amounts of options. And I genuinely can say this without bias, that there's no country I've visited within Africa that offers as much as Kenya does. And I truly believe that we are lucky as a country. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Monica. I actually do agree that when it comes to hiking spots, Kenya indeed is very lucky. Just as our team would give us a long list of unique, interesting places for Kenyans to visit. My second question will be going to one of our guests who is with us in person here, Erastus Maina. Erastus, is he still here?
Yes, Erastus Maina. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry about that. Erastus Maguri, as our guest, I would like to ask, should Kenyan be represented across the East? Should Kenyan be represented Erastus? East Africa. Thank you, Erastus. I think everyone would vote for you if you ran for Minister of Transport for Kenya with those very persuasive points against the matatu culture. Thank you. My next question will go to a visiting Toastmasters from SEMA Toastmasters. And the question goes to Lindsay Kagendo. Lindsay, what do you believe is the most defining moment of Kenya so far? What do you believe is the most defining moment for Kenya so far? We are 40 years old. Are we? How old are we? We are 60 years old. I stand corrected.
When I think of Kenya at 60, I would love to pick one specific thing, but really, there's a lot that our country has offered us within the past 60 years. For the good, I could say there's a lot of development. There's been a lot of social change in terms of how we run things. For the bad, it's a wonder how we voted for twice. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But most importantly, I think the one aspect about Kenya that I could say is remarkable at 60 perhaps could be our growth in character and our growth in leadership. Historically, Kenya has been known to have very interesting leaders, some of whom we inherited from the colonial system, others who fought for our independence. But over time, we've come to an era where the general scope of leadership and governance has changed in the country. We have more leaders who are more keen to social economic development, not just political. We have leaders who are attuned more to infrastructural development. And over time, we're getting a crop of leaders who have a wider vision, and hopefully over the next 60, we get people who could see past their nose. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. I love your positivity, particularly about the leadership. Kenya, I'm one of the people who are seeing the leadership as glass half full. So to see you having some hope that things are going to change for the better is quite inspiring. Thank you, Lindsay. I don't know if we have enough time, Madam TMOD timer, for one more question. 2 minutes. So I will pick a gentleman for the next question in the interest of fairness. We've had 2 ladies, now we'll have a gentleman. We'll go online. Edwin Mwangi. Edwin Mwangi, can you hear us? Is he still in the meeting? Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Then, oh, great, Edwin. So my question for you, now that our theme is This is Kenya, and we've just heard about leadership in Kenya. My question is, Sonko, as the governor of Nairobi, was better than Sakaja, the current governor of Nairobi. Agree or disagree?
I'm not really sure how to go about that, because based on 2 characters, they are very distinct in terms of character and then leadership in terms of how they run their leadership. But in terms of output, based on the two leaders, I'm quite conflicted on whether I want to go with Sonko or the current leadership. But based on the question that you've asked me, I would rather go to Sonko, to be honest with you, and that would be more or less, not particularly because of the deliverables, but based on, some certain improvements here and there. Because based on the current leadership, to be honest with you, I'm quite conflicted just to just pick any particular output that I would say it has delivered based on what we have been promised. So I'm kind of inclined to go to Sonko, and I'm not even sure that even the current leadership can be able to deliver anything tangible, to be honest with you. And back to you.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you for those insights. The purpose of impromptu speaking, as you can see, is to always be able to speak on your feet, even when you're asked the most random of questions, or even when you're not ready and you do not know how to answer these questions. So I hope all the table topic speakers that you've been able to test how well you can think on your feet, and keep practicing, because you don't know when the next table topic master will call your name. You should always be ready to speak as a Toastmaster. Thank you all for your inputs. And in all fairness, perhaps the weather has made us judge to judge Governor Sakaja harshly, though the potholes and flooding. Let's give him some credit. He's only been here for 2 years. Let's revisit this question perhaps in 5 years in all fairness. Thank you, TMOD. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Vivian, for the ingenuity in choosing those questions for the table topics. We can go ahead and please vote for the best table topic. We had Monica, Erastus, Lindsay, and Edwin. Monica Oraro, Erastus Magori, Lindsay, and Edwin. As we vote, I would like to tell you a story. As Monica was answering her question, she said that she cannot compare Kenya to any of the African countries. And I remembered a friend of mine was starting a company in, let me not mention the name of the country, in East Africa. And they were called to do a letter of good conduct. And they were told they need to visit Interpol in that said country. And they were asked, because it's a company, they need to book for VIP. And they went prepared for an Interpol interrogation. Just to get to the country, and well, Interpol is equivalent to our DCI. However, the expectation did not meet what they met there, because their VIP section was a bench, a wooden bench, where they had to sit squeezed, waiting for their turn. And she came back and asked me, if I told you you're visiting Interpol, what would be your expectation? I'm like, wow, I would be expecting offices I see in movies. She was like, well, I went to this country and I really appreciate our DCI offices. So, well, I am with you, Monica. I don't think so. Our country compares in many ways to others in Africa. We proceed to the last section of our meeting, which is commonly referred to as breakfast for champions, the evaluations. The impressive thing about evaluations is that the evaluator not only gives highlights of a speaker's strengths, but also gives recommendation on areas of improvement, even when you think the speaker has outdone himself or herself. For the first speech by Sophie Ohanga, I welcome Fidel Owiti to give us the evaluation. Welcome, Fidel.
Someone once said that a great speech is always wrapped in a great story. And that is what Toastmaster Sophie Ohanga did in her icebreaker speech. And in this speech, I particularly love the following. Number one, I love the structure of your speech. When you came here, you first of all asked that question, that Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., and Barack Obama, what is common? That was an attention-grabbing introduction. Then you went on to describe the body of your speech, which was again wrapped in a story where you told us your journey as a child admiring great speakers and news presenters, then your journey as an adult now wanting to become a great speaker, and then finally concluded with this call to action. Or you concluded by telling us the reason why you joined Toastmasters. The second thing I loved about your speech was the storytelling, which I spoke about. For when you when you tell your speech in a story, it does not only make it relatable, it also makes it memorable. That's exactly what you did. You still remember many of your stories that you spoke about. And finally, I also loved your humor, the use of humor. There was one instance you said that, what did I do about it? And then people expected maybe you did something, but you said you did nothing. Humor again as a way of engaging the audience and removing the barrier between you and the audience, making your message more relatable and memorable. Now, what can you do better in your next speech? This was your icebreaker, but you can still do something about it. The first thing I would love you to do in your next speech, though you'll never do another icebreaker, maybe if you choose another path, but in your next speech, try to be a little bit, just a little bit more vulnerable, because what you told us was just how you joined Toastmasters. We were left with many questions. Where were you born? Where did you go to school? What do you do out of Toastmasters? Those many questions you ought to have answered, being that this was your icebreaker speech. The next thing I would urge you to do is your stagecraft or your usage of this stage. This was an icebreaker, but you ought to, or you could have better used the stage by ensuring that your hand gestures are visible both to the physical audience and to the online audience. And in conclusion, you had a powerful speech structure. You had purposeful humor. You had great storytelling skills. Simply work on your vulnerability and also work on your stagecraft. Let me tell you that solve your hunger. Nothing is going to stop your journey towards communication mastery. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Fidel. Our second speech by Elizabeth will be evaluated by Mawia Ishuhi. Mawia loves the beautiful sceneries in that Kenya has to offer. Welcome, Mawia.
Thank you so much for that short introduction. I love so much about Kenya, not just the scenery. I'm sure I gave you so much more. I will be evaluating Elizabeth. Elizabeth, humor is great medicine to the soul and a great way to break the ice. What did I love about Elizabeth's speech, and something that you can all take away? She wove humor into her speech so well. We were able to get a good laugh when she told us she was a multilingual psychologist who is practicing HR because she has done Japanese, Spanish, and French. I'm sure you are all shocked by that definition, as we've never had, I'm sure, taking such a large course in one mouthful. So that was so great to hear. And also the embarrassing moment that you had when you went to deliver your speech and actually turned out to be a fail. What I learned about you is that you are a mother of two. You went to Teresia School in Isili. You are proudly a Christian. You have so many languages behind you, a Kalenjin, a Luo. And through this speech, your first icebreaker speech, we were able to learn so much about you. And this is the purpose of an icebreaker speech. It's for us to get a feel of who you are to the audience, because we want to engage with you. This is a journey that we will take with you as Toastmasters. And for us to learn that you have done interior design using SketchUp and have built your own house is such a great inspiration, because we can clearly tell that Elizabeth is a go-getter. What else did Elizabeth excel at? She had such a great opening, body, and conclusion. For our first time speech, though she told us she has done public speaking in the past, we could be able to tell from her introduction who she was, her body, the path that she went through by delivering the speech, and her conclusion of informing us that she is here to get her groove back. And that's the flow that one has when they are writing their speech, and we are able to get a clear flow of what this speech is trying to get. So she linked her title, which is How I Got My Groove Back, throughout the whole speech, and we were able to learn such great lessons from her introduction. She had, for someone who's delivering an online speech, she had a great background. It was clear white, it was undistracted, and we were able to focus on Elizabeth herself as she delivered her speech. As you can tell from my background, it is a bit distracted for those who are viewing me online. So when you are delivering a speech, please be conscious about your background, because it tends to distract your audience when delivering her speech, and Elizabeth excelled at that. What can you challenge yourself when you deliver humorous content? Allow your audience to soak in the joke, laugh before you proceed on to your next speech. Elizabeth, I'm looking forward to your next speech, and I want to encourage you to keep on
writing your second speech, because you are such a great speaker and we can learn from you, especially now that we know you are referred by Sarah Adhiambo, who is our former Vice President Education and our President of Kwanza Kenya Club. And I see great strides for you moving forward. Thank you so much.
I would like to introduce Mawia again to evaluate Janice's speech. She has said that she gave me a long list of things she liked. She also says that if you're a lover of nature, you're spoiled for choice. And what she finds amusing is how Kenyans express themselves, especially the term where. Welcome back, Mawia.
I will be evaluating Janice's speech, which is a project 2 in the level 1. And the purpose of this speech was for her to have a clear speech purpose. And Janice, you excelled at delivering and giving us a clear speech purpose. And that was, every setback is a setup for a comeback. A great speech must have a purpose. There's no point of coming to deliver a speech and your speech is flying everywhere, and the audience is trying to catch their breath, wondering, was she trying to inspire us, inform us, entertain us, educate us? And from this speech, we can tell that Janice was trying to inspire us with her lessons. And she was able to weave such a great story into her speech. She shared a vulnerable story of how she got pregnant at such a young age. And that's not easy for us, for anyone to share with a strange audience. But through this speech, we were able to be thrown in and learn from your mistake. And not just see this as a mistake, as an opportunity for us to rise up back from the ashes. And your speech had such great grammar. I rose from the abyss with no visual way. I was able, from the curveballs that were thrown to me, my dreams crumbled and I couldn't tell if I was crystal clear. So the grammarian had so much to pick from your speech. And I hope she noted all those great words that you incorporated. One of the things when you are trying to weave a purpose into your speech is, for example, let's say use the example of Elizabeth's speech, trying to get my groove back. She managed to weave the introduction and the word back into the speech. And even Janice did the same. When she kept on saying, every setback is a setback. So as you're delivering your speech, it's important to keep on highlighting, keep on repeating. Repetition is a great tool to use when delivering your speech because it emphasizes your main point, emphasizes the purpose of your speech. What would you want to challenge yourself, Janice? For a project 2 speech and moving forward after the next week, it is encouraged for you not to use your notes. At this point, we are trying to test your ability to memorize your speech, and you are not meant to come with your notes when coming to the podium. So practice delivering your speech so that you may not have moments where you pause because you're trying to remember. And anyway, no one knows how your speech is structured. So you could have been able to just jump over. But when you use notes become a crutch between you and your audience, and then it can tell if you were not able to internalize your speech. I would also recommend that you learn to, moving forward, look at YouTube videos that sit on moving the stage, because you are trying to internalize your speech and you tell that at some points you are trying to remember. At moments now you are moving fast to catch up with your memory, and that distracted you. So when you have clear poses, clear stance poses, the center, delivery, all in all, I highly recommend you moving on to your next speech because you had a clear speech purpose, and that is every setback is a setback, is a setup for a comeback. Thank you.
Thank you, Mawia 1, Mawia 2, for your evaluation. Would now proceed to vote for the better evaluator. There was Fidel Owiti and Mawia Gishui. As we prepare to receive the reports from our roll takers. The first report will be from our hack master, Mercy. Mercy, please welcome. You have 5 minutes to take us through your reports. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be testing your listening skills from the speeches that have been made tonight from all speakers. And I also tried to be intuitive while coming up with the questions. And so I'll start with a question, not really a question, but one of the things that our TMOD said today, that is Christine, by asking how many national reserves do we have in Kenya? Okay, even the guests and the members online can also respond on this. Good time. Sorry? Someone say 28? Yes, correct. How many marine parks? Okay, so next is our first speaker, Sophie. She mentioned some of the leaders that have already mastered the art of communication, beginning her speech. So I would like to know, maybe you can mention a few. No, maybe by a show of hand. Yes. Who? That's correct. So next question. Who did Sophie watch news with at 9 p.m. every time to capture the art of communication? Yes. And which first technology platform did Sophie use for learning? Yeah, YouTube. So I'll move to the next speaker, Elizabeth. What brought her group back? What brought her group back? Yeah. Someone else? Okay. How many are they in the family? For Elizabeth? No. Yes. Yes. And what has she done for undergraduates?
Psychology.
Correct. Which language has she studied? Okay, I didn't hear the French parts, honestly. Okay. And what has made a space that is our home so beautiful? Which hobby is that? Yes. So for the next speaker, Janice, before I go to Janice, Elizabeth said that one of her relatives, she called one of her relatives who is a fellow Toastmasters. How is she related to the relative? Yeah. So I'll move to the next one. What's the title for Janice Mugambi?
Step back for a comeback.
And how many years was she when she got pregnant? What did the doctor ask the boyfriend? What couldn't allow Janice to go back to uni? What did Janice use the school fees for? What were our closing marks? Okay. Can ask Katuya. Atuya, are you with us? I can try Barbara. Barbara Karaoke. Can you hear me? Josephine? Okay. So what was the closing remarks for Johnny's speech? Embrace the setback, finding strength within. I'll go to Vivian. What does Vivian love about Kenya? And most of the people have said that. Matter to culture, but our visitor says that should be able. What do you think? What else is good about Kenya? But anyway, thank you so much. And I hope next time the online people will be more vigilant. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Massive. Up next, Elaine, for your grammarian reports.
Good evening, everyone. So first, I'd like to thank our Vice President Education. She captured a lot of the beautiful language that was spoken throughout this session today. So Mawea, thank you for that. I myself got so enthralled by the beautiful speeches that, and the ingenuity that a lot of you used when you were giving your speeches, that I think I got carried away. However, I did capture a few instances of improvement that I acknowledge and all take forward into future sessions. So for Sophie, there's a part of your speech where you spoke about admirers, but you're referring to the people who you admired. So it's just to try and understand the structure of your speech. Janice Mugambi, you said it's something Kenyans say a lot, huh? Trust you me. So trust me, believe me. Yeah, I don't even know if we need to make people trust us, but hey, if you choose to use it, then the you me is not really proper English. For Erastus, I have a lot to say about Matata. It's not part of that session. However, when we use words, but just in case anyone doesn't know who Mungiki is or what Mungiki is, then they can actually be able to keep up. The final one that I captured from Mercy actually in the last session, it was what was the closing remarks? What were the closing remarks? I think over and above that, thank you so much for your participation and your good use of language, and hoping that we continue to do this better in the future. Madam TM.
Thank you. Thank you, Elaine, for the elaborate reports. Marcel, our timer, please tell us whether you are impressed with how we manage our time.
So this is what I would say. I think this session was properly conducted. We did overuse the time, which is a good, because it shows we actually into this, right? We had a few guys going over and above the time, like Mawia. But I would say because she's so passionate of getting her mentees, you know, excelling or improving. So she did go about like 45 seconds, just a bit. The rest were in line or on time. We did have Monica, Erastus, Lindsay, and Edwin, who actually were within the time. granted to them. Other than that, I believe we did well. And what?
Thank you so much, Marcel, and for everyone for keeping time. Last, we have the art counter, Elizabeth Mwangi. Please let us know whether we learned how to pose.
Good evening again, Toastmasters and guests. The speakers today were well restrained in using the filler names, the filler sounds, and the inappropriate interjections. Unfortunately, we did not have the bell or the glass to tap. The practice on pause was ingenious for most of the speakers. Nevertheless, the use of R, and L were quite a bit with many speakers, and also people repeating the words many times at the end of a statement instead of pausing. And also the word to and you were overused. This is what we are using for evaluation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I now welcome Ian Boogie, our master evaluator, to tell us whether we ran an impressive meeting or not. Welcome, Ian.
Good evening again, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. It's already cold, it's rain outside. No, I was late a bit when getting here. I was one of those members who was waiting for his boat by the governor, but my ticket number hasn't gotten there. But nevertheless, today we had an ingenious meeting, and I'm going to show us and give a report about how we have conducted ourselves, and especially for the role takers and also for the meeting itself. Now, the meeting began on time, that the president was here on time, and also on the online meeting, it was shared on all platforms about 10 minutes before time. And so the meeting room was open, and so members were able to get in. And also when I was got into the room, the president was already here speaking, and she had already welcomed guests. And so the meeting, effectively, it started on time. We are running a little bit late in terms of the time we have used, maybe like 5 or so minutes later than we expected, but that is good because the TMOD was able to run and get the role takers to be able now to abide by the timelines that they had already set out. Before the meeting, the exco made calls, at least I was called as a role taker, to any role taker to ascertain where they are and how far they get to the meeting. And that shows planning. It shows good planning by the meeting, by the experts themselves, and also the TMOD in how she will be able to run her meeting, whereby you find that she's been able to call the role takers, know who is where, who's coming in, where they are role takers, but they're not be able to come into the meeting, have somebody who's a replacement. And so that shows the planning stage. It was very professionally done, and that's something to commend you about. Now, I also love the fact that most of the role takers today were actually new members. We had 3 new members, I think, who will be inducted today, and they are all doing it here. And I love it for you guys. I love the fact that you're taking it on and doing it. And also we had 2 icebreakers here. I know Christine considers herself a newbie as the TMOD, and she's run a fantastic meeting. And so all around, I would like to encourage everyone here, whoever, if you're a guest, if you're a new member, just look at how the new members are taking charge of the meetings. Now, in terms of the setup, this is the place I loved most. I know one of the evaluators has said that we have a very busy background, and I agree. However, for the online speakers, this thing is giving. Look at the light on my face right now. I'm glowing. Yes, and it's amazing for speakers who come here. It's amazing that we have found a right place for the lights. So maybe we look into how we can shift the background, but for the setup itself, it's amazing. Also, something that happens is that if you love arranging and rearranging your house, you'll realize that if you do a rearrangement one day, when you get into that house, it feels like a new house. It feels like you've already started something new. So when I got in there, I was like, where is this? Where am I? And I loved the setup. I loved how it changes so that even the speaker themselves, the guests themselves, the members themselves, we don't feel as if it's a monotony thing that we're doing. We always have to stand there, the light is bad. This was amazing for the light. I love that the audience got better quality in sound, better quality of the video in itself. Also, I love the name cards. To the expo, these name cards represent Kwanza. If you learn, you can look at the one, not the green one, that is what you used to have before. This is what we have right now. So this just shows ingenuity by the members of the expo. And that's amazing, amazing, amazing. There's something else that was introduced. Okay, I'll see it and then I'll comment on it. The president, as I said, opened the meeting on time. She was very cheerful and set the tone for the meeting itself. The TMOD began the meeting well. On that, before then, the role takers that were supposed to do this meeting, they were picked up about 2 weeks before this meeting. And so you had that 60% of the role takers already by the end of the last meeting, they were already locked in. Then before the end of last week, all role takers had been identified. And this allows for proper planning. The TMOD issued questions to everybody and everybody had a chance of replying to them early on. And so they gave her time to be able to practice her speech, her opening, and how she'll run the speech. And that was fantastically done. Now, something that I feel like we need to do a bit better on is that when you're here, this stage, I own the stage right now because I'm at the lectern. This is my stage. At Toastmasters, it's customary that whenever I'm about to leave the stage, please come up. Just one moment. Just please come up. Whenever I'm about to leave the stage and I've called him to come here, I shake his hand when everybody can see. You see here, where everybody can see. We were shaking hands. So we shake hands where everybody can see. Once you've shaken hands, I leave, and then he steps into the stage. So he steps up now. You are leaving the stage after. Yeah. So then for the audience, when they get here, and also you clap when they are going back. And that's something that we did not do. So if he was going back, I will clap all the way until he sits down. For the speakers who have been called up, wait until the time when the member has sat down, whether it's an evaluator or your TMOD, so that you can now begin your speech. Because if you begin as they are walking, it takes away from your speech because all the what's the word I'm looking for? The focus is lost and all that is taken to the other person. To the guest who are the and I hope you can that when you're called upon to speak, you stand, and then you walk up to the podium and present your speech here. The reasons are two. Here at Toastmasters, we are working on your speech. And a big part of your speech is confidence. The confidence is to everybody around. So when you stand here, you get to as an online speaker, the online guests are able to see whoever is here, all right? Now, the last bit on the stage presence is that for the role takers, all of us, it's prudent that at least we try and come here a bit earlier, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes earlier, so that you can come and stand at the podium, and then you look at the camera. Where is it facing? Test it out. If you start too close, some members are tall, so you're standing here, I can't see you. Others are going too far back. Others are talking when they're here. So I get it that it's important that you want to see everybody, because this is distracting. I can't see the two people there. However, I have to play around. So I have to play around because the online audience also wants a feel of me. So I can go here when I'm still talking. I can still come back to this side. But a lot of us are missing that point. And so it's important to do that. Now, I don't know if it's the cold weather. The crowd today, we have been poor. I, as the crowd, we have been poor. We have better standards. And so today, and Swahili, I need to use English. I am not condemning anybody here. However, today's audience, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the day, we're a bit down. So but for the TMOD to be able to engage us and talk to us, and you found a few speakers were greeting us and then doing the greetings again, because we were not giving back that energy. So when you come here, please, as audience, you also have a role to play. We bring that energy, because somebody is doing their first speech, like the two icebreakers, they've forgotten everything. So they need to be reminded, they need to be gassed up. And so it's important that members also do that. Yes, I love the fact that the grammarian also posted all the speech, all the names here. Yes, finishing in a minute. So for the table topics. Yes, for the table topics, speaker. Well, just one thing. I'd love if you were able to mix up. I love if you're able to mix up the names. When you are calling somebody, like you call Vivian, don't call my name first. Say the title of the speech or the question and then call out the name, or mix a bit, so that element of surprise isn't lost here and there. There was, I think, at the Hack Master, I loved your engagement of the crowd, because you allowed the crowd to engage you, and as such, everybody felt like as if they were welcome to the meeting. So all that energy that was lost a bit in the meeting, you were able to capture it back, and I loved it. Over and above, as you can see, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to tell you guys, but this was a fantastic meeting. I loved the meeting. I hope we can work on the little tidbits that we need to do, and in the next meeting, it will be a fantastic one. And just before I leave, as the treasurer of the club, I will be meeting any new member who has come here today for about 5 to 10 minutes after the meeting, just there behind. So please wait up a bit, and then we'll talk. Other than that, as the general evaluator, that was fantastic.
Thank you very much, our Maasai evaluator, Ian. And we will take into consideration the areas of improvement. This evening, we've heard wonderful things about our country. We've also had some really annoying habits. I would like to share some habits I find very peculiar with Kenyans. Only in Kenya, where any type of toothpaste is Colgate and all powder detergents are Omo. Only Kenyans predict rain by how hot the sun is. Hii jua ni ya mvua. Only Kenyans hit the remote instead of buying right. In Kenya, we start our speeches with, mine is just a few remarks, and 3 hours later, we are still there. Kenyans will call you at 12 p.m. and ask you, are you asleep? However, Kenyans are also very selfless when it comes to helping our own. A good example of this was during the drought in 2011, where Kenyans raised 677 million shillings in cash and 300 million shillings in kind to help save the lives of drought-stricken Kenyans. In the initiative called Kenyans for Kenya, people will contribute as little as 10 shillings just to lend a helping hand. In the words of our national anthem, may we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty, and plenty be found within our borders. It has been an honor serving as the Toastmaster this evening, and thanks to everyone who helped make this evening a success. Back to you, Madam President.
When you talk of ingenuity, that is what our Toastmaster of the day exemplifies today. Do you believe it or not? Hey, do you believe she was ingenious or not? Could you kindly give her a better round of applause? Thank you very, very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. We had a blast. We enjoyed every minute of it. And I want to believe that even the guests who are online and every person who's attending online, you enjoyed yourselves. And because I can see that we're really running out of time and we still have a little bit more to do before we call it a day, I would like to invite the Sergeant at Arms to take us through the best speakers of the day, as well as to applaud the first-time speakers who did their icebreakers today. Kindly approach the lectern, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. Let's give him a round of applause. And because he tells me he's more technologically advanced than I am, he tells me that he's going to do it from where he's seated. But that said, I'd like to first of all appreciate the very first time speakers that joined us today and gave their icebreaker. And this goes to the first speaker of the day, and that was Sophie. Sophie, could we kindly stand up and give her a round of applause? Kindly stand up. Right, the second icebreaker speaker of the day, I don't seem to see her. Elizabeth Kipruto, are you still online? Because I can't see you. Oh, great. So let's give her a round of applause. We are retaining your icebreaker ribbon until we meet you in person, and we will be able to give it to you. Congratulations to all of you. You may have it. Yeah. And now for the best speaker of the day. Loading, loading, loading. And the best, we're waiting for the best. The best evaluator is Madam PPE, Madam Mawia Gishui. Congratulations. Hey. And the best table topic speaker of the day is Madam Monica Oraro, all the way in Egypt. Congratulations. And now, drum rolls, everybody, drum rolls. The best speaker of the day is Elizabeth Kipruto. Congratulations, Elizabeth. We're truly proud of you. And like I said, this is one very proud moment for Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, and especially the EXCO team, because today is the day of first-timers all round. When you talk of the Toastmaster of the day, Christine Mugo, this was her first time to become a Toastmaster of the day. And guess what? Sophie Ohanga and Elizabeth Kipruto, they gave their icebreaker today after having joined Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters only 3 weeks ago. Isn't that deserving of a clap? Congratulations. Congratulations also to Elizabeth Mwangi and the timer, Marcel Atieno, who has only been a Toastmaster for only 2 weeks, and today she was a timer. Congratulations. Now I'd like us to move on to the very first segment of our meeting today, which is inducting the new members that we have. Yes, we have 17 members who've joined us, but I can see that we only have about 10 who have joined us here and online. And I'd like to call each one of them to come and join me at the lectern. But before I do that, I'd like to inform us that this induction ceremony is normally used to welcome every new member of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters and any other club that you're joining in. And as Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, we are truly, truly proud to call you fellow Kwanzanites, because that is what you have become. And now, fellow Toastmasters, and more precisely, fellow Kwanzanites, it is our duty and our privilege to induct 10 new members into Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club. This is a very important occasion, both for these new members as well as the club at large. These individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication as well as their leadership skills. And we now have an opportunity to help them grow and achieve their respective goals that they have set. I will now call on all the new members who are joining up today, and please withhold your applauses until they are here. So any one of us who is being inducted today as a new member, kindly join me at the lectern so that we can induct you. You know yourselves, kindly come to the podium, kindly come to the lectern. Madam VPE, you can join me at the lectern. To every one of you inductees, you are now joining a worldwide organization that has helped millions of people learn to communicate more effectively. And as members of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, you will benefit from this proven program of self-development. You will become a part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated to helping one another in the spirit of sharing and development. Madam Vice President, have these new members been given an opportunity to discuss their needs and their goals in the club? She says, yes, they have, to those who are online. Have they been told how this program works, and have you informed them of the many benefits that they will receive, as well as their obligation as members? Yes, they have. Can you confirm that you have been told that, all the new members? Yes, you have. Okay. Now, as experienced Toastmasters, I'd like to confirm that their mentors are also either online or here. Okay. Okay. They all have, does anyone not have a mentor here? We all have mentors, right? You don't have a mentor. Not a problem, you'll get on before you leave here today. The rest have mentors, all of us. Okay. Now, membership in this club and in Toastmasters is a privilege that carries with it many rewards. Yet it also places certain obligations upon each of you. We are a group of people that have been brought together to do things that we could not have been able to do alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and improve ourselves, as well as to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members in the spirit of enjoyment. And this means that you'll be working diligently towards your own self-development, evaluating translating each other's speeches, as well as supporting each other to retain the goals of Toastmasters and to remain positive. We ask you, new members, to dedicate yourselves to personal growth and to share this great gift with your fellow members. Please confirm your membership by repeating after me the following words. When I say I, you put your name there. I didn't hear, so I can imagine they didn't hear. I, in the presence of my fellow members of the Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, make this firm obligation to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for each assignment, to apply myself to the project outlined in the Toastmasters education program, to participate actively in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner, to build open, friendly relationships with my fellow members, and to bring other new members into the club so that they too may gain the benefits of Toastmasters. So help me God. Let's give them a round of applause. And now to the members, fellow Kwanzanites, I'd like you to follow, to make these, to repeat after me. We, the members of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters.
We, the members of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters.
Thank you, Didi. Kindly join the other Toastmasters who are online. Kindly join in repeating the same. We pledge to support you.
We pledge to support you
in your quest for self-development.
In your quest for self-development.
To provide you with positive.
Provide you with positive.
Helpful evaluations.
Helpful evaluations.
To maintain a friendly.
To maintain a friendly.
Supportive atmosphere.
Supportive atmosphere.
And to give you opportunities to help others.
And to give you opportunities to help others.
And to make your Toastmasters membership.
And to make your Toastmasters membership.
A rewarding and fulfilling experience.
A rewarding and fulfilling experience.
A round of applause for each of them. Now I'd like to hand over certificates to every new member, every new Kwanzanite who is joining us today. And we start with Masi Kidinji. A clap for her. Living Jackie. Lorraine. Congratulations. Joy Christine, you should be here. Clap for her. Okay. Elaine was there. Congratulations. Aiden Gidai. Elizabeth Mwangi. Elizabeth Mwangi, congratulations. Faith Yabwari, congratulations. Elizabeth Kipruto online, we have your certificate. You are a member. Lucy Juma, congratulations. And finally, but not least, Bruce Felix Mwangi, congratulations. Round of applause all around. Thank you once again, and we apologize. We've run out of a bit beyond our time, but that was all for a good reason. And as we wind up, but once again, we want to appreciate our guests, Erastus Magori, Barbara Karaoke, Daniel, and Edwin Mwangi. Thank you so much for having joined us for today's session. For all our guests who have come to visit us from different Toastmasters, Princess Eguchi, Lindsay Gagendo, and Tracy from SEMA Toastmasters, thank you so much for coming by. As well as Lucy from Rafiki Toastmasters, thank you for coming. And last but not least, want to say a big thank you for joining us to Monica Araro, who had gone on a hiatus for a very long time. Thank you for joining in. I do not want to keep you any further because time has really gone. For each of you, once again, I say thank you for making this meeting one of a kind. And my last take to you is, you've seen people who joined 2 weeks ago. They've hit the road running and they are becoming what they joined Toastmasters to do. We are expecting more new people in our next meeting, which is the 9th of May, a physical meeting. And I know we're going to have 3 or 4 icebreakers in the next meeting. So for every one of you, thank you once again. Have yourselves a good night and take care as you travel back home. And with that, I declare meeting number 976 hereby adjourned.